And then we can start. So welcome everyone to this masterclass of how to take charge of your life, because that's what Ayurveda and what yoga, what they really help us to do, away from any trends. Yeah. So I start off with a little presentation. We always need some visual, even if that is good old. Hello. Oh, hold on. I need to first put it here into, okay, stop sharing. See, these are also what you have if you do that loads of times, you know, you still need to go forth and back. Hold on. Here we are, and now I don't know how okay. I so I do need to get it actually into the show it in that way. No problem. Okay. Share again. Okay. So let's do it in that way. All right. So Ayurveda, if you can just type in the chat also. So I forgot to ask if you have any pre-knowledge. Wendy, I know you have. So 0. That's good. So what is Ayurveda? So in terms of how the word is put together, Ayur in Sanskrit means life, but it means like a long and fulfilling life. And Vedas are the science. So it is the science of having a long and fulfilled life. And although you have Ayurveda written down in India, in ancient Indian scriptures, but it is really seen as a universal science. So it is not local to India. It is local to wherever you live in this on our planet or in the universe as well. Yeah, and this is because Ayurveda, the main basics, where everyone, even Ayurvedic doctors, come back to, you know, is everything is made out of 5 elements. And these elements are space, air, fire, water, and earth. And they come in that order. So they one sort of evolves into the other ones. And these qualities, they do have, these elements, sorry, they do have particular qualities. And that is for a reason. So they have the following qualities. So space is cold, because none of the other elements are in the space yet. So there's no movement. It's like outer space. Yeah, there's no movement, no wind, no nothing. There's no fire. There is no water. That's why it is dry. There is no earth. That's why it is light, and that's why it is subtle. Yeah. Air comes in afterwards, and air is the movement within that space. But there is still no fire, water, or earth, so it is still cold, it is still dry, and it is still subtle. but it has a different quality to it, which means there's also a kind of roughness there. Because when you think of you are in a place where there is a lot of air, lot of wind, so your skin will dry out and then it gets rough at the surface. Yeah. Or leaves drying out and then they crumble and then they are rough. Yeah. So the next one is fire. So fire has all the other ones. Yeah. So what comes is always included in that one as well. But fire has no water and no earth. So it is still light and it is still subtle, but fire has other qualities. So it is hot. It is sharp. So when you put your hand on a flame, you will immediately put it away because this sharpness hurts your skin. And it is penetrating as well. So if you hold it long enough, it will eat itself into the flesh. All of those are clear previous ones, yeah. So because there are no other molecules and denser molecules in there, so there's clarity from the space element to the air element. Then we come to water, and water has a little bit of fire in it, so it is cool, and it is moist. And it is soft because as water runs over stones, if they are lying long enough in the riverbed, they will be soft. It is soft on our skin as water is, we're having a shower or we are in the rain. It is heavier, obviously, so I mustn't forget that it is heavier than the previous elements because there's just more molecules to it. And it is slightly viscous, so it holds itself a little more together than the others. However, when for the smoothness, for example, when we jump from high enough into the water, we feel this this viscosity of this element, because then the surface for us will feel very hard depending on how high it is. And then earth. Earth, obviously, it is cool as well because it has a little bit of fire in it as well. It has moisture because the water element is in the earth as well. It is heavy. It is dense, and it is, what else is there? It is stable and cross because it has even more bigger molecules, and it is stable because earth by itself doesn't move. It stays there unless it gets moved by something else. Yeah. So this is the basic principle of Ayurveda. I know when we go further, it gets more complex, but you can bring everything down to that principle. Everything is based on the 5 elements and their qualities. And the qualities for us, the qualities is what we are experiencing. Yeah, so how we experience the world is through these qualities. So we say, for example, how do you feel? So now here we think, okay, we feel good, we feel fine, but actually we could bring it down to these qualities as well. We could feel heavy or light. Yeah, or we feel cold, or this is more clear for us, or warm. And so they are paired in these 10 opposite pairs. And this is how we experience, how we can express it. but this is also how we can balance them. So the basic principle of Ayurveda is that same and same makes more of the same. So you have a fire, you put more wood on, the fire burns brighter. You have cold, make more cold. You might get ice from water, for example. Yeah. And for us, it means if our body wants to be naturally in a balanced state. So some of that, it does it by itself. Means when we feel cold, we're not taking off clothes, but the information comes from the nervous system, and we go and get a cardigan and put that on. Yeah, or put some socks on. Equally, if we are hot, we're not putting the cardigan on, but we're taking it off again, or we're taking layers of clothes off. So naturally, because our body, our system is made for being in balance, and it always goes back towards that. This is how it works. It naturally, we're going for the opposite. But when we're aware of that, more and more we're becoming aware of this concept and its consequences, and how it can balance and imbalance us. Then we're going back to these qualities and its opposing pair. Yeah. So, for example, if you feel very light, yeah, and there are activities, I'm jumping a little ahead here so you can see that, because this is also, oh, this is not here, sorry. This is in your handout. I don't know if you have that with you, but you have this where the opposing qualities are, and activities, and also food, you know, that has this particular quality, because not just we have it. Remember, everything on this planet and in this universe has its own. Food also underlies these same qualities. So if you're feeling heavy, for example, and then you eat food that is heavy, let's say, I don't know, piece of cake with lots of cream, and then you go afterwards lying on the sofa, which is also a heavy quality. Is, you know, there's nothing moving. This is like a kapha quality, lying on the sofa watching some TV. So then you're going more and more into that heavy state. So then if someone comes and wants something from you, then you say, oh, you need to get your motivation again back up in order to say, okay, I'm doing that. But in order to get that, you need to apply something light. So you would get up, for example, yeah, or you feel really heavy before you even come on this even heavier state where you are already on the sofa and you have eaten. So you will see, you feel very heavy before you even eat. You think, okay, I'm feeling heavy. I maybe need to eat something that is a little stimulating. Yeah, so some spices, something light as well. And then you balance these qualities straight away out. Naturally, with the body giving you signals, but when it is not up to the body and it comes, or it is based on our consciousness, our awareness, and also our likes and dislikes, they filter all also in that, then we need to apply, and we need to think, and we need to say, okay, do I feel heavy, or how do I feel, in order to apply that quality. Yeah. So I would like for you for a few moments to come in, take a few breaths, and then feel what you feel right now of these qualities. Just write it down for yourself, you know. Is there heaviness? Is there lightness? Do you feel clear, or do you feel a little duller? Is it cloudy and foggy in your head? You're cold? Are you hot? Do you feel the energy is moving around and everything feels quite smooth and fluid? Yeah. So coming back from that, so in your workbook, you also have a little worksheet where you can write more. And I would like to invite you really to do that. And you know, for the rest of the day or also tomorrow, to think a little bit of how to get more beyond the fine or the not so good, but into those qualities. You know, how does it feel not so good? You know, how do you define that, and what can you see from these particular qualities? Because what it brings, you know, you might think, what for? It brings just more awareness, and more awareness brings you in a position where you can then react to that, what you're experiencing, balancing out, stimulating a little more, you know, whatever is needed for you. It gives you just so many more tools that you come ahead of imbalances. Yeah, because the imbalance is or comes when we have more of the same. Yeah, so then we get the same, and the same gets just more of the same, and the more of the same will imbalance us naturally. Means you are hot, you put a cardigan on, yeah, you will feel even hotter. So you might get a headache at the next stage. You might get nauseous. You might faint. Yeah, you might get angry and irritable. So all of that, what are, as you will see tomorrow a little more, how the imbalances are showing in our body and in our mind. You know, this is what we want to avoid. There's always a balanced state, which is sort of right in the middle, and then there is the imbalanced state. And in Ayurveda, this imbalanced state of whatever your constitution is follows a very particular part down to from where you just need to put or take the cardigan off to you ending up in hospital. Yeah, sounds a bit dramatic, but I mean, it is, you know, if you take it long enough down that path, you know, then eventually you will end up there. Okay. So this is already a little outlook of the next session. So these qualities and the elements and their qualities, they team up into the doshas, and that's maybe what people, you or maybe others from my experience, that's what people know from Ayurveda, is the doshas, is Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Yeah. So, but the elements go into that. So space and air, they make the Vata dosha with their qualities that they have. Fire and water makes the Pitta dosha with their particular qualities. And Kapha dosha is water and earth with those qualities. So we have tomorrow more of that, a little bit more in depth, but these qualities and the doshas, then they are also within the day and within the seasons, because the elements are all around us. They are shifting according to, you know, how our earth revolves around the sun and where the sun is in the southern and northern hemisphere. And these qualities, they come with that. Yeah. So times of the day where Vata dosha is more active and dominant is 2 to 6 in the night and throughout the day with those qualities. And Pitta dosha is active and dominant from 10 to 2 at lunchtime and around midnight with those qualities. And Kapha dosha is 6 to 10, morning and evening. Yeah, and this is a reason for how Ayurveda recommends certain activities through the day, meal times, because they're in line with these natural qualities that are present in that particular time of the day. Yeah. So that, I think, could be enough information for right now. Yeah. So if you have any questions that you can think of, then you can ask now. Maybe you need to digest. No, you have something straight away. That's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not sure about Wendy, but it's all maybe gone over my head a little bit.
I know Wendy has been through several.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the thing with me is it's being able to correlate an example with what you're trying to teach me.
Yes.
Yeah. So tomorrow with the doshas might actually help, because I think what you're going to talk about is activities and foods that you should have at those certain points in the day.
No, yes,
Oh,
but not in particular, because
okay.
this, you know, as you go into the nitty-gritty of it,
Yeah.
then it gets quite complex. So I will tell you what the days and the times, what you eat and what is good to do, but
Yeah.
not like particular food. Yeah.
Right.
But
Okay.
the thing is, maybe, you know, you recognize yourself in certain in certain either of the doshas, or remember the elements, you know, they are base of that. So what you can do today already to sort of get your head a little bit around it and
Mhm.
to see how you make it relatable is really, what do you experience? Because this is all experiential, you know. So this is how we experience this world. Our life is all based on these opposing 10 pairs of qualities. And to see, you know, how does it relate to me, you know?
Yeah.
And how do you, maybe you know that from memory or from just seeing it in the moment, how do you react to that? So do you also mentally, do you tend to balance or tend to imbalance? So everything that goes beyond that physical state where our nervous system said, hey, put a cardigan on, I'm cold, you know, where we are aware, because when we are aware, then we can also choose. And we're not always choosing the balancing part,
Yeah.
you know, in
Yeah.
terms of the opposing quality, where sometimes we're choosing to go down exactly that road where it leads to imbalance, and we go down in that awareness, but we constantly keep ourselves talking and saying, oh, maybe, you know, I can just push it a little further. like a teenager that needs to experience its boundaries and pushes even a little more.
Yeah.
In the same way, we have something in our mind, which we all as humans have, is that someone tells you, maybe you should ease off that, maybe you should do something different.
Yeah.
And you will say, really? Let's see. Maybe it is not as bad as you say it,
Yeah.
but we this is just innate to us.
Yeah.
So everything I know this, because I can see what your makeup is a little bit,
Yeah.
I know that this is. No, I want to know more rather than I want to know all the details. But the details, this is the foundation of
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Even if it sounds really boring, but but when we brush over that, when it gets complex, we don't understand how we get there. Like if we know the times tables, we know how to multiply and divide and plus and minus big numbers. If we skip some of those, we have some gaps in that knowledge. And like this is also, it's very much layered of, this is the basic. Okay, sounds pretty boring to me, but then what comes once you understand that and you go back to that, you think, okay, so the doshas will be maybe confusing for you. Then you go back and think, okay, what was that again? Okay, so that was air, and what quality do they have to really understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do know where you come from.
Okay.
And something, I don't know if Wendy can say, if you can unmute yourself, Wendy, if you like to. But my experience, I got introduced to Ayurveda when I started yoga. So this is nearly 30 years back. And I still look and I think, oh, what was that again? And I still look in the books, because there's so much information. And it is a concept that when you grow up in the West, it's not innate to us.
Yeah.
It's not our thinking. If you come from an Indian background, for example, they know exactly what, they don't know why, but they know exactly, oh yeah, my mother always told me that. But there the why is missing, but sort of the train of thought is already there. Sorry, Wendy, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that I'm not, as you know, I'm not doing the course because I did it last year, but I'm refreshing my mind on
Yes,
things that slip up in
yes,
your head.
because there's every time there's something where you think, oh, now I get it,
Yeah,
because you hear it like 1,000 times and you think, oh yes, of course, now I understand, and then
yeah,
it clicks a little,
yeah,
and then
yeah, because I keep thinking in the dashes, what am I really? Am I, Pitta, Vata? I don't know, because I think I've changed a bit, more so with all the situations I've been through in the past year.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you remember, everything is we have two things. We have the Prakriti, which we were born with, and that
yeah,
will never change. And every one of us needs to balance back to that.
yeah,
And then we have the Vikriti. This is when we go to work or things are happening in our life and we imbalance. And it is like my teacher used to say, it's like a layer of dust on your kitchen surface. You have to, every time you have to wipe it clear to go
yeah,
back to the surface is your Prakriti. And the Vikriti is coming naturally. We can't avoid that. No one will stay balanced all the time, But the thing is to get it, to capture it early,
early,
You sneeze once, you think, okay, I might get a cold. So you do something, you know, make yourself a cup of tea or put something on, or think, okay, I'll go to bed early. And the next morning you think, oh, I'm feeling much better. But then you think, oh, maybe not, let's see. You know, then it goes into a cold, and then you're not really responding to that. And then it goes into maybe an pneumonia, yeah, and then you end up in hospital. So in Ayurveda, it is really that catching it straight away, seeing it. You know, this is happening. I feel heavy a few days. Yeah. Okay, so what can I do? So you have here this list. Heaviness is, you know, what heavy food is: cheese and saturated fat and yogurt and wheat and nuts and meat and fish. So what is light? Okay, vegetable broth, fruits, mung beans, puffed rice, hot water, spices, you know, chicken as well. You know, in terms of meat, chicken is light. So Ayurveda is not a vegetarian philosophy.
No.
Science, you know, it is meat based, and every meat has its qualities, and for some it's good and for some it's not. So if you feel heavy, maybe you don't eat your steak, maybe you think, okay, I'll make chicken then. Yeah. So like that, it is, you know, that you're not going down the rabbit hole, but you see, okay, this is happening. This is what I can do to get me back on track. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
And for that,
the discipline as well.
and for that, these qualities are really important to know, and also to recognize. You know, we need to sharpen a little bit our awareness to see, you know, what do I feel? Do I feel dull, or do I feel foggy? Yeah, which might be very close to each other. So to see then what's the opposite of that, and then I can say, okay, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is
That was
how it is
one of the
today.
things I wrote down today.
What did you write down?
Foggy headed.
Forget No.
Well, light-headed. I mean, there's a reason for it, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it is very much involving your thought into in that, yeah, and sort of getting to know this concept. And also at the same time, you have to be patient with yourself if you don't understand it straight away. You know, I know.
You
Being
just, you
tasked.
just know that isn't one of my qualities,
I
don't you?
know, but
Yeah.
this is, you know, but this is what you need to, this is what you need to work on, right?
Mhm.
It's just to say, okay, I'm not getting it straight away and have this knowledge available. You know, I take one breath in and it's in, and I can now work with it. Yeah.
Yes.
So we need to just be a little bit more at ease with ourselves and say, okay, well, it's complicated somehow. It's complex, maybe not complicated. It's not complicated, but it's complex.
Yeah.
And the more you learn, the more information comes, the more complex it gets. And then you think, oh my God, I can't get that. Where does it go back to? And then you go back to your elements and the qualities, and it makes it really more understandable.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Because that's why I'm back over. I'm still looking through my notes from last year.
I know it is, you know, you still look
Yeah.
through it, I still look through the books,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is. And we need to say, and then sometimes I think, oh, it really should be in my brain by now, but it isn't. You know, there's
No.
so much other stuff in that brain as well, and maybe that occupies more space than it should. But it is, yeah, it is really a process.
Yeah.
But the process also shows you a lot about yourself. And that's what it ultimate, you know, what you ultimately want is to really get to know yourself, from all the different aspects, how your body is set up, how your mind is set up, because it will help you to move through this life with a little bit more ease and also structure if needed. Yeah. You might need much structure because you are a very focused and structured person already. But to balance that, you might need easing off a little and letting it go a little. So to stay balanced. Because the mental setup is just as important, as we're getting more and more intense. Oh, I need to finish this, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, and now, no, I can't do that. No, I can't eat now because I still have this to do. And I want to finish that before I eat, because then only I can enjoy my meal. But then you're already an hour later. And then the body already says, hello, excuse me, I want some food. And then we're getting ratty, and then we're getting impatient, and then we're getting irritable. And but that's how it starts. And then we're repeating that same pattern again and again and again. And that's where we need then to really start and say, hold on.
That's the intention part.
That's the intention part. It all comes in, it's all, Ayurveda is holistic, means it brings everything in. In Ayurveda, at a consultation, you look at your past, everything that you had, everything that you eat, how is your day, when you get up, when you're eating, when you have breakfast, what's your breakfast, when you have lunch, what's your lunch, when you have dinner, when are you going to bed, how is your poo, good, not, constipated, every day, or and how is urine, what color does it have? All of that comes in. How are your parents? How is all of that? How do you live? How is your house? If the first option doesn't help, the first take in, then you think, how is your house? How do you sleep? And all of that. And it really takes everything into consideration, because we are, as we are, complex creatures.
Definitely. Yes.
And it just brings it all in. And that's why I love Ayurveda, is because it can just reason everything. In Ayurveda, you will not fear, or you not come to a point where you say, okay, this is incurable. They always will give you something. Okay, this is here, this and this is out of balance. And this is where we start. Yeah. Everything can change. Obviously, the bigger your imbalance, the longer it will take to change. But you always can start the process of, okay, let's start. And it always go back to the basic. Get up early, go to bed early, eat lunch. Don't skip the meals, stay with that particular time. Don't get distracted. Because that's where we start, and we need to go back to that. And it can be super difficult because we get in our habits, and they are so ingrained in our brain.
Yes. Distraction, that's my biggest thing. Distraction. I mean, I can be doing one thing in the kitchen and then start something completely different.
I think we all do that.
Yeah.
But this is the Vata nature of you, of all of us, Vata is the moving part, remember?
Yeah.
So this already from the qualities, you see, Vata is mobile. And that's the only one who is mobile, the others getting shifted by Vata, So you think, okay, this is here, I can see that quality in me, in my brain, that it is very mobile, and it just jumps from one to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. Yeah. So, but this is where you see these qualities already there. So you can already now identify quite a few
Yeah.
and how they work out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you doing the course? I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
My name's Claire.
Claire.
Well, I'm doing these 3 sessions, yes.
Yeah.
And then obviously I go to, well, I not obviously, but I do the yoga with you, don't I? Well, I'm there tomorrow morning.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just someone who I think from what I'm interested in is that you said about going back to you as that when you were born, etc. I've always been, I think, like this.
Yeah.
Always, even as a child, you know, I used to get called neurotic, but it was just because I was constantly thinking, constantly worrying, constantly 20 steps ahead of everyone else,
Yes.
and felt that I had to be 20 steps ahead of everyone else when you don't have to be. And you know, obviously, I've experienced 2 incidents in the last 4 years, so I need to find a balance now.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and talking about balance, I am going to need to leave you in a minute because I'm dropping my daughter back to university today. So my apologies.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I don't want to feel like I'm dismissing it, but we are seeing.
No,
I'm
no,
seeing.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will give this some thought. It's making more sense now that we've talked this little bit. So
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Wait till Tuesday, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you can physically come, then obviously that's the best because then you can ask questions. If not, you know, you can always look at the replay and then think, okay,
yeah.
how does it relate? And if you don't get that, then you
Oh,
just drop me a
oh,
note or ask.
no, I'll definitely be on those sessions. I've already put them in my calendar catcher. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
I
because
will
this
be
is
there.
the pitta part in you,
Yes,
you know.
it's in there. It's in there and it's fixed. So
It's been excellent.
yeah.
Okay, good. So have a safe journey then.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll see
Okay.
you in the morning.
See you in the morning. Yes.
I'll see you
Take
tomorrow
care.
morning for yoga. But
Okay.
Thanks,
I,
Brett.
I,
See you tomorrow,
I,
Wendy.
well, I have to I'll do the recordings for the next 2 days because I've got appointments. So, but I will be at yoga in the morning.
Lovely. See you then.
Yeah, see you then. Okay.